I would say if you're going to be like a serious owner and going to do multiple places or be in this a long time, develop like your own interview guide for yourself. You're not
Okay.
going to want to, because it's a pain in the butt to put in the work. You're just going to think I can wing it, and you'll wing it fine for a while, but there'll be a point where it's too hard. So make your, and update it. Just, whatever, just have it saved somewhere. And every time you have a new person, you have it. It's just so much easier to turn off your brain and know exactly what you want to ask. Because there's
Yeah.
little oddball questions that I've learned and they're on my list that I forget half the time. You have a good, strong, I'm very checklist oriented. This comes from going to culinary school. Culinary school is very like military style. Like everything's like turn off your brain and rely on a list. Don't rely on your brain. So like checklist. Just like pilots and surgeons and chefs are the same with that.
Got it.
I rely on that for myself and for the staff. So interviewing, which is so important. And I'll spend a lot of resources on interviewing. I'll interview somebody, well, at least once, sometimes twice, maybe even a third time. That's rare. But I'll sit with them for, like have a real conversation, maybe not this long, but I'll sit with them. I want to be respectful of their time. They're not getting paid for it, but yeah, I, sit with them, make sure it's, a place you can focus. I don't have my phone out. Just things like that. Like if you weed out the ones you don't want to work with early on, it's just that much easier later. Like don't
Esther.
Yeah, don't like hire the wrong person. I've done it. It's the fucking worst, dude.
Totally.
Go, and then you're afraid of repercussions. It can be very difficult. So,
what are you said there are some like almost quirky little questions that you always make sure you ask in interviews, or like some stuff that you forget. Like what is an example of one of those things?
Yeah. I guess it's not so much, it's not quirky, but it's idiosyncratic to how we run it. So one thing is like, if I'm interviewing somebody, I'm going to make sure to be upfront and tell them, hey, are you comfortable and do you have experience working solo? Because a lot of our places you work, not always, if it's super busy shift, obviously you have a second bartender or a bar back or door, but a lot of the shifts are solo. So that's one. And then another one would be like, are you happy working or capable and experienced working long shifts? And I'll give you, this is a 12-hour shift, maybe, or a 10-hour shift, which is that you're like, well, that's not quirky. It's not, it's just that it's idiosyncratic to how we run the bars. And it's something that if you can forget to ask it, and it can be so obvious to you, like this is a huge part of it. You didn't ask it, but when you do this long enough, it's easy to forget the obvious stuff. Like anyway, I do the same thing all the time. New eyes see it and they're like, how could you forget that? You do it all the time, you're going to forget it. So stuff like that, because those are the kind of things where somebody, they're all raring to work. They've been trained. You've trained them for 6 hours and now they're off to the races and they're like, dude, I thought it was like a 6-hour shift. Or whatever. So I guess not quirky, but develop your list that's idiosyncratic, unique to you guys. So that, because there might be an awesome bartender who's great, but God bless them, they don't want to work those kind of hours, or they don't want to work solo for whatever reason. And right off the bat, and they're like, okay, cool. Well, maybe if you open another bar and it's not like that, I'll come work.